Goldberg looked really, really old during his Raw return, and that's a big problem. Between the heavy breathing, apparent limp, and large amount of sweat, Goldberg looked like a guy who shouldn't be wrestling in WWE today. Whenever a smaller wrestler is pushed to a world championship in a major wrestling company, there are usually some folks out there who are upset and say it's not believable for that smaller star to go toe-to-toe with and even beat the larger wrestlers at the top of the card. Bryan and CM Punk had to deal with this criticism as they were trying to establish themselves as new WWE main eventers circa 2011 through 2014. As far as today's wrestlers go, I'm seeing some fans already trying to limit Roxanne Perez's ceiling in WWE because of her size, for example. This complaint never made sense to me because we all know pro wrestling is scripted. If the star in question is super over with fans and looks credible kicking ass in the ring, then it's not hard to go with the flow, just like so many other things we go along with in the wacky world of pro wrestling and other scripted entertainment. This brings me to last night's, June 16th, episode of Raw and the long-awaited return of Goldberg. Over the last several months, the WWE Hall of Famer discussed on his podcast how important it is for him to look like the ass kicker he's always been presented as in pro wrestling. He also talked about how difficult it has been trying to get his body into that kind of shape at almost 60 years old. I don't doubt what Goldberg said about how much time and effort he's put into this strenuous process, but the harsh reality is that the Goldberg that showed up on Raw looked really, really old. At first I was impressed with the high kick he did as his pyro was going off during his entrance. But it was all downhill from there. He had a hitch or limp in his step during the rest of his walk to the ring. By the time he got in the ring it already looked like he was breathing hard and sweating too much. He got up in Gunther's face and looked physically worse than the world champ in every conceivable way. Goldberg didn't look like a guy who should be competing in WWE today. He definitely didn't look like a guy who has any credibility going up against the world champion on Raw. I didn't get hyped up for a fight when I saw Goldberg and Gunther go face to face. Instead, it was just kind of sad. It became apparent that Gunther has quite the carry job on his hands on July 12th at Saturday night's main event for Goldberg's retirement match, for the handful of minutes that bout will probably last. To be fair, Goldberg didn't get physical in the ring, so these are just my quick first impressions based on how looked walking to the ring and standing there during his promo. Perhaps there's a lot more going on under the hood and he will surprise the hell out of me once the bell rings on July 12th. I assume Goldberg will be back on Raw in the coming weeks before then, so.